to the pre-show before the free show.
What's up, nerds? We made it. We made it to Tuesday. Feels like an achievement.
Yes. Yes.
We are in the thick of magazine season, and Pickle is in the thick of baseball and softball season on Texan Live, which is a lot. So making it to Tuesday does feel like we hang the banner on the aircraft carrier.
I was going to say, and this is a point, I mean, we can debate this. This is the pre-show. We talk a lot about the war on weather during football season.
Uh-huh.
Let me tell you, the war on weather during baseball and softball season
I have been saying this.
Is even worse.
It
is even worse because we're in weather season.
The war on weather does not know a season, okay? Folks, it is like you think weather sleeps? Weather ain't sleeping. I've been on this wall for years. I've been on this wall. We have the technology to destroy weather. We can do it. Build a dome around the whole world. Like, we can make this happen.
Yeah, it's
Blow up the sun. Blow up the sun. Name one good thing the sun does.
Well, I like the sun. I don't think the sun is the issue.
I mean, the sun is ultimately the mother of all
I like the sun.
Weather.
Wind.
We're
Gone.
out on wind. Down on wind.
Hate wind. Hate wind.
All right.
I don't use the word
Bottom
hate
5
often.
weather phenomenons, go.
Dude, wind. Like, that's the list.
Wind and wind adjacent disasters.
Anything that brings along wind, like tornadoes, not cool. Bunch of spinning wind.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's like aggressively spinning wind.
What an interesting,
that's what a tornado is.
What an interesting take you have of like all of this could be like if we just killed the wind.
Yeah.
You're out on wind.
Wind sucks.
All right.
Well, I mean, like right now, rain sucks. But on the other side of that, how can Lake Pickle say that rain is a bad thing? Because without rain, there is no Lake Pickle.
Right.
So like,
this is great. This is you having different like. I can tell looking through the glass over into your.
I've done a lot of time thinking about this.
You're kind of at war with yourself here.
But there's never a time that wind is good.
Yeah, but you got to pick a side.
Because even when it's no, I'm out on wind. That's firmly where I'm at.
No, you got to pick a side in the war on weather.
No.
Kind of sounds like you're a weather apologist right now.
No, wind. I have a lot of words for wind that I can't say on this air, but
it's a family
primarily
show.
Because think about even when
Mallory's
it's hot,
grandparents are watching.
Even when it's hot outside,
yeah,
wind still stinks.
I agree.
It's just
Look, I'm out
blowing
on all
hot
weather.
air.
I'm out on all weather. You know this.
Wind is trash.
We have the ability to destroy weather. We should do it.
Bottom tier element.
Have the courage. We need courageous politicians to speak truth to power. When you go to the ballot box this fall, vote against weather. We're out on weather. Can I read you a headline?
Yeah.
Dateline.
Dateline.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Chung chung.
I'm gonna read you the story and leave out some important parts to kind of set the narrative here.
Okay, this sounds like great journalistic tactics.
But then I'm going to read you what I think is one of my favorite headlines of all time.
Okay.
When 3-year-old Sailor Class began complaining of monsters in her bedroom, her parents thought it was a figment of a child's overactive imagination. Sailor had complained of monsters in the wall of her room at their farmhouse in Charlotte, North Carolina. Her mother, Alyssa Mass's Class, and her husband thought nothing of it. After all, they had just shown their daughter the Pixar movie Monsters, Inc. We even gave her a bottle of water and said it was monster spray so she could spray away any monsters at the night, said Mrs. Class, a home designer. But over the following months, Sailor became more insistent that there was something in her closet. Can I read you the headline now? Mm-hmm. A little girl said monsters were in her bedroom. It was 60,000 bees.
Oh my God. Bees?
Bees!
Oh no. How do you...
I'm sorry.
Like,
they
how
found
did they
that
not get underneath the door?
The bees had spent 8 months building a monster hive above this little girl's room. This little girl's right, there's monsters in my room, and her parents like,
okay,
nah.
so it's in the ceiling?
It was in the
do
walls.
They have an attic?
It was in the walls in the ceiling.
Oh, my,
the floorboards of the attic, and then into the walls.
Lord.
60,000 bees.
That's, like, terrifying.
It's terrifying.
Like, that could, I guarantee, if they were to get out, I mean, that could be very harmful to her.
Oh, for sure.
Like
and
death.
It sounds like everyone's okay.
Which is
and
good.
I'm glad.
I guess why we found out why bees are endangered, they're all living in that little girl's wall.
Yeah. 60. What a headline. It does feel like, as somebody who was a UIL state finalist in headline writing.
Yeah, big brag.
Allow me to tell you that that's the kind of story you dream of. Okay? Shout out to the BBC. A little girl said monsters were in her bedroom. Period. It was 60,000 bees.
I love that it just gets straight to the fact. Like,
yeah, listen, like they didn't, like I danced around it for the sake of narrative. They did not. They were like, it was 60,000 bees.
That's insane.
Anyway, happy Tuesday, everybody. Hit the Theme Expo. Yo! From the brand new Dane Texas football mothership here in beautiful, scenic, crime-free Lewisville, Texas. It is Texas Football Today, a show that at last check does not have 60,000 bees in the walls.
Lord, I hope not. We just built these walls.
My name's Greg Tepper. I'm the managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and Magazine, TexasFootball.com, a corresponding website. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. Whether you're watching us live, TexasFootball.com, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, etc., or you'll show us in the podcast, which you can subscribe to on whatever podcast vendor you darn well please. This is America. Either way, thank you for doing your part to support the little internet show that could. I am sitting over there at the helm today, making us sound good. They call her the Duchess of the Dorks. They call her Miss 305. They call her Gizmo. She's Ashley Pickle.
My nickname list is getting out of hand.
I'm just going to have to, there's a wall right here, and I just need to,
write them all.
Put the script on here, you know what I mean? All that stuff. Today is Tuesday, April 30th, 2024, right?
Yeah, I think so.
212 days till Thanksgiving. Happy birthday to the pride of Fort Bend Elkins High School. And for 1 year, the pride of UTSA. Happy birthday to Travis Scott.
The rapper?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't realize that.
He went to Elkins.
I was more shocked that he went to UTSA.
He went to UTSA for a year, apparently.
What did he study at UTSA for a year? Sick beats?
Yes, Pickle. He was majoring in sick beats.
Listen, you majored in newspaper, so if you can major in newspaper, he can major in sick beats.
That's a great point. Honestly, if you were to pick right now, sports gun to your head, you have to major in either sick beats or newspaper. I know which one I'm choosing.
Yeah.
Get on the ones and twos.
Boom, lawyered.
It's episode 1764, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Bang.
Boom. On numbers. You can major in numbers. That is factual.
Major in numbers. On today's show, folks, it's Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
We're going to take a look. I'm going to try something different. I'm going to try to project for you what will be the best Texas high school football offenses in 2024 using math. We'll get into that. In the back half of the show, speaking of some of the best offenses in Texas, we'll be joined by the head coach of one of the teams with one of the best offenses in Texas, head coach of the Panhandle Panthers, Coach Dane Ashley, will join us live on this very program if you stick around with us and use your ears to listen to the words that we're saying. All that and more coming up here on a very special 1764th episode of Texas Football Today. Do we have first four through the door?
That was one heck of a dismount.
Thank you.
I don't know if it was a compliment.
I don't know. It kind of sounded like a compliment on this side of the glass.
TJ Hudson, jersey number 69, nice. Ed McElroy, and Joey Hill, welcome in. That side of the glass hears a lot of different things.
It does. Absolutely true.
All the little Tepper voices that are in your head.
All the little Tepper. You mean like voices. You mean like my wife?
No.
She's tiny.
Yeah. She's a little Tepper.
She's a little Tepper.
You do have 3 little Teppers, 2 of which are children, 1 of which is your tiny wife.
Exactly right. Anyway, thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Oh, pickle.
Give the people what they
pickle,
want.
Pickle, pickle, pickle. I checked the calendar today, and you know what it's set to do today?
Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday. Here on Texas Football Today, America's favorite segment when we dive into the numbers of football across the state of Texas. And we mentioned that we're working on the 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football, which you can get mailed to you before it hits newsstands if you become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber. Anyway, one of the things that I've started kind of messing around with as far as getting all this data in, because we get all this information from coaches, and some of the information is like, for example, how many like returning starters you have, right? And I'm trying to come up with a metric, me being a dum-dum, but somebody who does have Excel, trying to come up with a metric of seeing if we can project out the best offenses in Texas high school football moving into 2024. Now, I am not naive to believe that I have got this figured out, okay?
Okay.
I'm not, because I think there's a lot of different variables, and especially a realignment year with things changing and things moving around, there's a lot of different things and different schedules coming out. There's a lot of different things that can change. Plus you add in things like injuries, you add in things like transfers, you add in things like coaching changes, scheme changes, etc. There will be some team, we've talked about the most improved offenses in Texas high school football before, there will be some team that we never saw coming that will have one of the best offenses in Texas high school football. That's just a fact. It happens every year. But what I wanted to do was take a look at a couple different metrics and see if we can smush them together and make some projections here in April as to which Texas high school football offenses are going to lead the way in 2024. So, first things first, we're going to take this at a very basic level. Let's take a look at which teams in each UIL 11-man classification scored the most points last year. The best offenses in Texas high school football from a scoring average perspective. In 6A, you see Willis, 54, nearly 55 points a game. 5A was Alamo Heights was the best offense in Texas, or in Texas. In 4A, Monahans averaged 51.3 points per game, just edging out the 2 state finalists in 4A Division II in Gilmer and Belleville. Canadian and Gunner were the 2 best offenses in 3A last year, averaging 57 and 56 points per game respectively. And then in 2A, Panhandle, who's Coach Dane Ashley we'll talk to in just a few minutes, Timpson and Beckville all did fantastic work. Now, here's the thing. You can look at this list of teams, and for anybody who follows Texas high school football, you can say, hey, Tepper, I have a feeling that these offenses may not be necessarily as good as they were last year. For example, Willis. Let's just take them for example. Willis averaged nearly 55 points per game, right? You take a look up here. 55 points per game. There is a notable player for them who is no longer playing for them. Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year, DJ Lagway, has moved on to the next level playing at Florida. There's some other teams like that as well. Canadian is going to have to replace some pieces. Gunner is going to have to replace some pieces, including their outstanding quarterback, Walker Overman. Timpson, right here, Timpson and Beckville, 2 teams with who were 2 of the very best offenses in 2A last year. While one of them loses Terry Bussey, the other loses Jacoby Williams, right? Those guys were pretty integral to what they do offensively. So immediately you can take a look at that and say, all right, we need to do a little bit of forward projecting here as well. So here's what I did, is I took a look at which teams in each classification have the most returning starters on the offensive side. Okay, 0 through 11, the number of returning starters that comes back. Now, one small caveat here is that coaches can kind of measure how they view returning starter in their own way. If you started a game, like technically you could be considered a returning starter. But we're taking coaches at their word here. And there's a few teams that certainly catch your eye. In 6A, Hebron is going to have the most returning starters. They got 10 starters back from last year.
Which makes sense. They were really young.
They were very, very young. Iowa Colony. Iowa Colony is a team that is just now going to have their first senior class in 2024. And so they bring back literally 22 starters. They bring back all 22 starters. Anna, this may surprise you, Anna's bringing back the 4A Division I state champs, bringing back every one of their offensive starters from last year.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
11 teams.
That is terrifying for 5A.
Absolutely. They're moving up to 5A, but still. Caldwell also brings back every starter they have on the offensive side in the 4A ranks. Lexington and Hughes Springs bring back all their starters. And then there are 4 teams in Class 2A, Junction, Schulenburg, Morton, and Bartlett, that bring back all 11 of their offensive starters. So you could take a look at this list and say, okay, well, these are the teams that are probably going to have the best offenses in Texas high school football, right? And maybe you're right, but at the same time, I can look at a couple of these teams. Aldine Nimitz, their offense last year wasn't all that great. Do bring back 9 starters, but not necessarily, a world beater. I know Bartlett really struggled offensively. Bringing back 11 starters is good. You would prefer that to 0.
Right.
But they're also starting from a place where they've got to make some significant improvements offensively. And so here's what I did, and this is admittedly non-scientific. Welcome to Math Tuesday.
Math Tuesday.
This, admittedly non-scientific.
Sometimes math is vibes.
This is a math/vibe segment here. What I did was I smashed these 2 numbers together, and I found a way, basically using a little bit of art, a little bit of science, of smushing these 2 teams together and finding elite offenses that have a large number of starters returning. And here are, right now, here on April 30th, my projections for the best all high school offenses in the state of Texas. And I think you can see the method to my madness here. Okay? You look at 6A. Cibolo Steel scored 40.1 points 40.7 points per game last year, 9 starters back. Okay? So a lot of the offense they had last year is coming back, including guys like Chad Warner and Jalen Cooper. They're going to be very good. Euless Trinity and Galena Park North Shore as well. Outstanding offenses last year, 43 plus points per game, 8 starters back. We think their offenses are going to be pretty good. We can project that out right now. In 5A, Anna. Anna's offense was good last year. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't averaging 50 points per game. But when you bring back all 11 starters and you got 38 points per game, pretty good. El Paso del Valle is another team, right? 43.9 points per game, 9 starters back. Corpus Christi Miller was outstanding, 57.5 points per game, I think like 2nd or 3rd in all of Texas high school football, and they bring back 8 starters. Lampasas in the 4A ranks. That was a 40-point per game team, bring back 9 starters offensively. Graham's in that same boat as well. Really good offense, a lot coming back. Malakoff in 3A. Malakoff does lose some key pieces. They lose some key pieces they have to replace. But they bring back 8 total starters from a team that averaged nearly 50 points per game. I'm pretty bullish on them in 3A. And then in 2A, I look at, if you were to ask me right now, sports gun to my head, which UIL 11-man team will lead Texas high school football in scoring next year? Panhandle's my pick.
Yeah, seems
okay. 53,
feels good.
Nearly 54 points per game, all but 1 starter coming back on the offensive side. Their offense is going to hump. Mount Enterprise and Axtell not far behind them as well. So essentially, this is, again, a little bit of art and a little bit of science here. The numbers here, I think, are sound. They bear out that, you look historically, great offenses that bring back a lot of experience tend to make another leap. These are the teams that I think are primed to continue that trajectory and perhaps even have the best offenses in Texas high school football in 2024. Now again, some of these teams, let's take Anna for example. Anna's got 11 starters coming back. Let's say they had 10. We'd still say, wow, that's a lot of experience coming back, right? Yeah. But let's say that one guy that was missing was Ziondre Williams, their quarterback, right? At that point, you'd say, maybe things you think differently. So
right,
this
Timpson's a great example of that. Timpson has a lot of people coming back, but guess what? It's not Mr. Football himself, Terry Bussey.
Yeah, they don't bring back Terry Bussey. Willis has a lot coming back too, but they don't have DJ Lagway. So this is based purely on the statistics and purely on the numbers. And there's going to be a lot of nuance in between it, which is probably why you should pick up a 2024 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football by going to texasfootball.com/subscribe. But this is, I think, a good first draft of teams whose offenses you should keep an eye on heading into 2024 because they could be putting up gaudy numbers. Next week on Math Tuesday, we'll do the same thing for defense because this was a segment I thought of that I could do twice.
Math Tuesday.
We're Texas Football Today. We're here every weekday at noon on texasfootball.com, talking football in the Lone Star State. You can follow us on Twitter at DCTF, like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's, and of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Hey, Pickle.
Yes.
Did you know that if you become a Dave Campbell's Texas Football subscriber, you get a year of access to Dave Campbell's Texan Live?
Wow.
Yeah, you get to stream thousands of live Texas high school events, including, when the fall rolls around, hundreds and hundreds of live Texas high school football games, which include hundreds of Texas high school football playoff games, live on your device. And today, I presume, today, you can watch.
There's no baseball and softball today.
Not today.
Tomorrow. It starts tomorrow.
A day to be determined in the future. You can watch dozens and dozens of live Texas high school baseball and Texas high school softball playoff games on Texas Live. All that, if you go to texasfootball.com/subscribe. Makes a great gift as well. Tomorrow is the first day of May. As a great man once said, it's going to be May.
Oh, jeez.
Celebrate Justin Timberlake by going to texasfootball.com/subscribe. Coming up here in just a moment, one of the guys at the helm of one of the highest powered offenses in Texas high school football, Dane, the head coach of Panhandle, will join us. But first, a word from these valued partners.
Feel like bustin' loose, come on. Get on up. Oh yeah, get on up. Bustin' loose when you wanna sing. Bustin' loose, baby, do your thing. Talking about bustin' loose, yeah.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Potter, Executive Director of Be Well Texas. Too many people are struggling alone these days, and alcohol and drug deaths are increasing. We started Be Well Texas to offer high-quality, science-based addiction treatment and recovery services anywhere, even at home. We provide compassionate, caring support virtually or in person. In many cases, there is no cost for treatment if you don't have insurance. Really. Welcome to Be Well Texas. We're glad you're here.
Wing is the largest residential drone delivery provider in the world, delivering to your home in less than 30 minutes. Order using an app just like other popular delivery services, and Wing's automated drone takes care of the rest. It's fast, safe, and sustainable, and it's now delivering to parts of Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. You can learn more at wing.com/TexasFootball. Again, that's wing.com/TexasFootball.
Born and bred in Texas hits a little different, as it should. Texans love doing business with fellow Texans. VCR Now takes its Texas roots as seriously as its many partnerships with schools and universities around the state. It's also why we're so proud to promote our brand in the pages of the Texas Bible, Dave Campbell's Texas Football, and on the airwaves of Texas Football Today. Driven by producing quality broadcast video, state-of-the-art audio, and LED video scoreboards at affordable prices, VCR Now makes sure to listen to your needs in its athletic department before recommending the next best steps. Building great products is our business, and it's our focus on building meaningful, long-term partnerships with our clients that sets us apart. From our 24/7, 365-day help desk, the training lab in our hometown of Red Oak, or our sports marketing business plan that puts money back in the hands of our athletic departments we support, VCR Now is built to last. Reach out to us today at info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW. Again, that's info@vcrnow.com or by calling 855-GO-VCR-NOW.
Back here on Texas Football Today, I'm Greg Tepper. That is Ashley Pickle. And Pickle, let's go to the hotline. Let's go up to Carson County, up there in the beautiful Panhandle of Texas, to talk with the head coach of the eponymous Panhandle Panthers. We're joined by Coach Dane Ashley. Coach, how are you?
Very good. How are you, Greg?
I'm excellent. How are things up there in Carson County?
Actually, not too windy today. It's been peaceful the last couple of days.
Which I know can be a change of pace for you guys.
It's Last week we're trying to do some spring football and we're out there in the snow, so it gets a little wild.
Most certainly. Well, one of the reasons that that people have been paying attention to what you guys have been doing up there in Carson County is because of all the winning you guys have been doing. Last year, another outstanding season, another 10-win season, 10-2. I'm curious now that a little bit of time has passed between now and the end of the 2023 season, how you're able to assess what you guys were able to do in 2023.
Looking at the season, just to assess that overall season, we were very pleased with the outcome of what we did. I didn't think we were very good in the beginning, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that we weren't exactly sure what we had and what we should be doing with it. By the time we kind of got it figured out, got the ball rolling, I did feel like that we got the most out of our kids that season. And with that being said, they were challenged right there at the end because we've got most of them back, and the word went out. I was like, guys, just getting a year older doesn't make you better. So our guys have been putting in a lot of hard work. So where we ended and where we're headed, I'm excited about.
I'm curious, and I love talking with 2A coaches about something like this, which is that you've got obviously a ton of talent coming back from last year's team. You guys are going to have a burgeoning, just exploding roster of 24 varsity players this upcoming season. How do you balance keeping your best players on the field, for getting your guys out there when you need them the most, while also making sure that you're just not running them into the ground, knowing full well that some of these guys just plain and simple don't have backups?
Yeah, and that is a tough discussion that we have to have, and that is a year-to-year kind of formula that we try to put together. This particular group, we've been speaking to these guys for a while. When they were in junior high, both classes had about 25 kids, and letting them know, guys, there's going to be opportunity to get lots and lots of people starting positions. Everybody sticks around and does what they need to do to develop. Mm-hmm. But I think the most simple thing that we look at is how good is the number 2 when he's fresh compared to the number 1 when he's tired and 80%. If those numbers are pretty close, then, man, we like to play as many kids as we possibly can. We're an up-tempo offense, so I think that plays to our benefit. But at the same time, I think for team morale, ownership, the more kids that you can give responsibility and starting roles, the better off you're going to be.
Dane Ashley, head coach of the Panhandle Panthers, join us here on Texas Football Today. Get involved in the conversation, hashtag TFT. Coach, you guys ended up being one of the best offenses in Texas high school football last year, a top 10 offense as far as scoring is concerned. You mentioned early on kind of figuring out exactly what you had. How did you see the offense in particular grow as the season went on?
We've had a couple of different quarterbacks. 3 quarterbacks removed, we had a kid that was a lot like Broxton Robinson. The 2 previous were very similar to each other, threw the ball well. We could really spread it out. And as the season kind of went on, we gradually moved back to that offense that we were using in 17 and 18 with Braden Durst that really just fit Broxton Robinson's skill set. And he grew a lot. As a passer, he grew a lot from week 1 to week 10. So, him maturing, him growing up, him getting game speed reps, but us also kind of figuring out the scheme that he is most comfortable in. It took some time, but I felt like by the end of the year, we kind of had a good idea of what we needed to be doing.
You mentioned Broxton, and I want to focus on him for a minute. He's coming into his junior year, a guy who was, 3,900 total yards last year. 58 touchdowns. He was a video game out there. But I know that going into 2023, he was still a bit of I don't want to say an unknown, because I think you guys had a feeling he could be pretty good. But did Broxton Robinson surprise you at all last year?
For me, Greg, honestly, I was not surprised. Broxton has been just an outstanding player in all sports for us since he's been here. And honestly, his freshman year, he was kind of set to be our leading tackler, have a breakout year. He was playing some tight end for us that year. He tore his labrum in week 3. So he sat out his whole freshman year, and they kind of came back into it. So I knew that he had the potential to be a special player. And so seeing that kind of unfold for him really made my heart feel good, because the poor kid had sat out a whole year.
Dane Ashley, head coach at Panhandle, joined us here on Texas Football Today. Coach, on the other side of the ball, I think that I'm of the opinion that, you take a look at the numbers, you guys give up about 28 points per game. I'm of the opinion that generally speaking, that is largely the fault of your offense too, because you guys are out there so much, you guys are scoring so quickly. But when you take a look at this defense coming back for 2024, what has you excited about this defensive unit?
Well, I thought we were playing good defense last year, to be honest with you. I felt like we have grown as a defense over the last few years, and that's really been an emphasis to kind of jump back to what you were talking about. We do play fast. I mean, we tried to snap the ball with, in 7 seconds. We want to run as many plays as fast as we can, and we feel like it gives us an advantage. And bless his heart, my poor defensive coordinator, he does understand that at times that's going to put us at a disadvantage because our opponents are going to have more opportunities and more snaps. But that's just the formula that we believe in. But we have a phenomenal defensive front that's coming back. And if you've got a great defensive line, it's easy to play defense. We've got a lot of really good linebackers coming back with some good depth in the secondary. And again, I think a group of kids that are very, very defensive minded, which I love, because you can be good on offense with defensive kids. You'll struggle on defense if you only have offensive-minded kids. So I think the potential is there to play some great defense next year.
I do want to ask you a little bit about your schedule. I want to talk about your district here in a moment, but in non-district, you guys decide to toe up with Clarendon and Stratford, really easing into the schedule. You don't have to do that, right?
Right. The Clarendon game's a good game for us because it's proximity and the things that we see. That Stratford game is a game that I want. It's a very, very physical football game. I want our kids to be physically tested. I want our kids to play physical football. And the only way to do that is to play people who are physical. I have a lot of respect for what goes on in Stratford. And for me, that's kind of been a measuring stick. I want to know exactly where we're at compared to what they're doing there. And so that's a game I got to keep on the schedule.
And finally, Coach, I do want to ask you about the new look District 1-2A Division 1. You apparently made some close personal friends in Austin because the UIL did you a favor by just dropping Sunray into your district, as well as a really dangerous Spearman team moving down from Class 3A. When you take a look at District 1-2A Division 1, I'm curious from your perspective and from the outset what you see.
I think it's just as difficult, Greg. I think it's just as difficult as it was. It's just going to look a little bit different. You're going to replace the smash mouth Stratford in your face with a Sunray offense that's incredibly potent, and they're bringing back everybody but 2 kids. So they're going to be very good. But as far as difficulty, I think those games are very, very similar. You got a 3A school dropping down in Spearman. They've always been very, very good. There's going to be a coaching change happening over there, so I'm not exactly sure what we're going to be seeing. But if you talk about Spearman and Farwell, I think that honestly that's kind of a wash as well. So we're losing 2 phenomenal teams, and we're gaining 2 really good teams. And then I see teams like West Texas High being a lot better next year. Sanford Fritch is going to have a new look. I think Highland Park is on the rise. So it's going to be tough every week, man.
He's Dane Ashley. He's the head coach of the Panhandle Panthers. Coach, we sure appreciate your time. Congratulations again on a fantastic 2023, and looking forward to seeing what you guys do in the fall.
Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Absolutely. There goes Dane Ashley, head coach. Panhandle Panthers join us here live via the telephone on Texas Football Today. And yeah, what's so wild about that is, like we were talking, it's a big wind show today. But he was up there in Carson County. It's real windy, right? Imagine scoring 53 points a game when it's windy.
That's the other crazy thing. I mean, the weather, like, we complain about the weather here, and it is crazy, but, like, the weather up there is always, like he said, they were just out practicing in the snow, and now it's like, oh, okay, well, it's 82 degrees outside.
Yeah. It's but that is a team. Broxton Robinson, just a junior, is a name to know. And I went and looked back, prepping for the show, I went and looked back on what they thought of Broxton Robinson heading into 2023. He's just a sophomore taking over. He's kind of the backup quarterback. And, like, he was, you could tell there was, like, tempered excitement. They're like, this guy could be special. And then to go out there and to do what he did, nearly 4,000 total yards, 58 touchdowns, I think it was. He was a menace. And you want to talk about a high-powered district. Sunray, Panhandle, Spearman. There's going to be fireworks in District 1-2A Division 1. We're excited to see it. We appreciate Dane Ashley hopping on with us. Let's go over to Gizmo for America's second favorite segment. Final thoughts.
This is producing on the fly.
Yeah.
But we need to. It's for the greater good. It's for the good of the people. We need to figure out when the last day that you can subscribe is to guarantee that you get your magazine before it hits newsstands, because like that's the absolute worst is when you miss the deadline and you don't get your magazine, and you see everybody on Twitter being like, I've got my magazine, and then they're calling going, where can I get mine? It's like,
those are emails I hate. Emails and tweets I hate.
I know.
It's like, hey, like I subscribe. It's like, yeah, but you have to do it by the 14th,
or
and
we
you did
can't
by the 15th or
guarantee
something.
it.
Yeah.
So we need to.
That's good.
My final thought is I was like, oh man, we need to be able to tell people when you need to subscribe by.
That's good thinking. But first I got to finish this darn magazine. Like let me live for a minute.
Have you seen? Did you ever watch Ted Lasso?
I did.
Okay, I have not, but I do know the reference to the meme where he's like, "Let him live."
Yeah, that's.
I think about that a lot in my daily.
Especially today.
Yeah, I would like to live today.
I walked into the before the show. Speaking of producing on the fly, I walked into the control room before. I was like, "Hey, you got everything you need for the show," and Pickle, I love you. You're one of my favorite people. I looked at her and she just looked at me with this look of like, I just want to fall asleep right now. I just want to crawl under this desk and go to sleep. That's what she's going to do after the show. She's going to turn off the show and do that.
Yeah.
Good. It's going to do it for us. Thanks for spending a little bit of your day with us. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Thanks again to Dane Ashley, head coach of the Panhandle Panthers, for being our guest. For Gizmo, I'm Greg Tepper. Vince Young, please give me your Player of the Year trophy. We'll see you tomorrow with Greg Powers on Texas Football Today.